Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Kindness Rising, your morning dose of hope, humanity, and heart, where we have more high fives for you and less rage bait every single morning. Good morning, Jess. How are you on this lovely Friday morning? I hope everyone's getting up and getting after it just like we do every day here on Kindness Rising and the Mornings in the Lab Network. Glad to be back in the studio today after a quick trip down to the city, quick overnight. Yes. Here's a virtual high five for you too, Sully. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. So where we are, we're finishing up our week, our Build the Room week, and here is a strange way to measure leadership. What happens when you're not there? Does everything stop? Does everybody wait for permission? Does somebody say we can't make that decision until Jess gets back, until Sully gets back? Which sounds flattering, of course, until you realize apparently you created an organization that can't survive your dentist appointment. Good morning, Mother. Yes, we are back. Yep. So here's the thing. Maybe leadership, the goal isn't becoming indispensable. Maybe it's building something strong enough that eventually doesn't need you standing in the middle of it. All week we've been talking about how to build the room, and today we're going to talk about what happens when we decide to leave it. Good morning, friends. Welcome to Kindness Rising. Let's build the room one last time this week together. Right. Yep, back in the studio this morning. It was a whirlwind trip. But we've made it happen. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming out yesterday for our brief, kind of less structured morning for sure. But yes, we are here together. We spend a lot of time talking about leadership presence, how we show up and how we communicate, how we influence the room. And of course, all of that matters. But eventually we have to leave it. The meeting ends, the season ends, the kids grow up, the job changes, somebody else sits in the chair. And that raises a different leadership question. Not what happened while I was there, but what keeps happening after I'm gone. There's a strange trap in leadership that we can become proud of being needed. Everybody comes to us for the answer, for our approval, asking us what to do next. And we become indispensable, which feels really good. Until we realize we may be indispensable, but what we've built is dependence. Absolutely. Not leadership. If every decision requires you to be there, what happens when you're not there? If every problem comes back to you, who's learning to solve problems? And if every good idea has to be yours, who's learning to trust their own ideas? That's why I think one of the great leadership tests is how the room works without you. Not exactly the same, not perfectly, and certainly not without missing you. What's the point, right? But can it keep moving? Can people make decisions and solve problems, trust one another? Can they carry forward the values without carrying around a cardboard cutout or your picture? Because real leadership doesn't shrink when other people grow, it succeeds. Maybe your legacy isn't how much people need you. Maybe it's how much more capable people become because you were there. And maybe the greatest compliment a leader can receive isn't, we couldn't have done it without you. Maybe it's, you taught us how to do it without you. That's today's Kindness Spark. Teaching others and growing. Yep. All right. Let's get to it. Our who in the world are we talking about? Three clues throughout today's episode to get you thinking about a person who is leaning into our topic. Let's do that. Our first clue: before building an entertainment empire, he created short experimental pieces for a local DC TV station. A DC guy who created short experimental pieces for television before building his entertainment or an entertainment empire. Whoa. Okay, that's it. Any guesses? Early guesses? Early guesses. All right. If not, we will move straight into our wait. That happened today. Yep, today, August 14th, 8/14, 1935. President Franklin Roosevelt signs the Social Security Act. Of course, I'm not looking to turn Kindness Rising into a debate or a seminar on federal policy, because that's not why we're here. But think about the scale of the idea of Social Security, creating a structure today intended to support people years, decades, generations into the future. People the original creators would never meet, people who weren't born yet, and that's interesting to me. Because sometimes legacy isn't a statue. Sometimes it isn't a building with your name on it. Sometimes it's a system, a practice, a structure, something designed to keep helping people after you're no longer there to maintain it personally. And that's one of the great things leaders do. They don't just solve the problem for today. They build something that tomorrow can use. August 14th, 1935, the Social Security Act is signed, and that happened today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, the Social Security Act. Lots of conversation about that nowadays, for sure. We all pay into the system and people are receiving the benefits, but there's lots of nuance we could debate and discuss, but that's not the point. The point was that Roosevelt was looking into the future to figure out how to provide for those who have given so much and worked their entire lives to keep our nation growing, and to provide a safety net. And that's what Social Security was designed for. All right, so that's it. That's enough Social Security yakking. Let's move on. How's everybody doing out there today? Jess is coming in with a guess. Roseanne's out there. All right. Kindness Spotlight every day here on Kindness Rising. We highlight organizations doing good work for good people as we wait for the drop to introduce. Today's Kindness Spotlight goes to City Year. City Year brings adults into schools to serve alongside teachers and support students academically, socially, and emotionally. But here's what I really like about the model. The service really isn't only about helping students grow. The people serving are growing too. They're learning how to lead, how to listen, how to solve problems and show up consistently. How to become the kind of person other people can count on, and that fits perfectly with today's idea. Because real leadership isn't about being the only person in the room who knows what to do. It's about helping other people become more capable and more confident, more ready to carry something forward. And City Year reminds us that one of the best years to build the next generation of leaders is to give them an actual chance to lead. That's what City Year does. That's today's Kindness Spotlight, helping people serve now and becoming the leaders we need next. Pretty cool organization sending young adults into schools to help. All right. Sully's out there talking about his classic cars. All right. We know you're into that. Mustangs. 41 Willys. Yeah. Jumping like a Willys in four-wheel drive. That's a Grateful Dead quote, right? Nice. That's cool that you're into that. Absolutely. What? Wait a second. Sully? You were actually at Bill Walton's house? Oh, no, it was in the town that is home of Bill Walton. Okay, I thought you were home. What? No. Okay, got it. La Mesa, where Bill Walton is from. For a second, I read it that you were actually in Bill Walton's house. That would be kind of cool. I bet the doorways are really high in Bill Walton's house. For those who don't know who Bill Walton is, NBA great. I don't think he was a 7-footer, but he was a tall guy and a deadhead. Okay. Side note about Bill Walton, San Diego. Yeah, I got you. Thanks, Sully. All right. Clue 1. We're getting back to our clues. We're going to give you a second clue. Second clue. I don't think Jess needs a second clue, but we're going to give it to you anyway. Before building an entertainment empire, he created short experimental pieces for a local Washington TV station. And his characters appeared in quirky television advertisements before they became household names. Household names that we will talk about in just a moment. All right. Let's keep rolling. All right. All right. All right. Everybody's all right. Everything's all right. It's a Friday. We are getting going, keeping going. Keep it going. All right. Here's our segment. I'm calling this segment Research Corner, but it's really not. It's really not. Not today. Let's talk about the easiest habits to develop and one of the hardest to notice. Doing everything yourself. Because sometimes you're faster. You know how to do it. You know what the answer is. You've done it 50 times. So somebody comes to you with a problem and you fix it. Done. Excellent. Except what did they learn? Maybe they learned when this happens, go find you. And if that happens odd enough, you become the answering machine, which again can feel pretty good until you take a vacation. Good leadership solves problems, but great leadership builds capability. There's a difference, and I'll give you the answer. And if I give you the answer, we solve today. That's it. If I help you understand how to find the answer, we may solve the next 10 problems too. The old teach a man to fish versus giving a man to fish. The leader who makes every decision teaches people to wait. The leader who fixes every problem teaches people not to practice fixing problems. And the leader who always takes over may eventually wonder why nobody takes any initiative. And that's when leadership gets uncomfortable, because developing people means allowing them to do things differently than you would. Maybe slower, maybe imperfectly, maybe with a choice you wouldn't have made. It can be painful, especially for those of us with a highly sophisticated system. You know what? Our system is just give it to me, I'll do it. Anybody remember that Saturday Night Live skit with Jimmy Fallon? Move. Classic computer IT guy pushing somebody out of the way to get the job done, which gets it done. It gets it done. Does it teach anything? Good leadership solves today's problem, but great leadership increases somebody else's ability to solve tomorrow's problem. And that's how the room survives without you. Boo-doo, boo, boo, boo-doo. All right. I hope everybody's waking up here a little bit. We're rolling. I'm having my coffee, having a good old time here. Headed towards the weekend. Any big plans for the weekend? I'm looking forward to a family gathering together. My sister coming into town, and I always enjoy her time. So we'll be gathering as a family over the weekend, and then of course, life, laundry, and mowing the lawn, and all that stuff that weekends tend to bring. Yes, latchkey kids learn to take the independent decision making early, for sure. Yep. Yes. Independent decision making. Sometimes not always the best choices, right? But we do make those independent decisions. And maybe that's a leadership parents or leadership, I don't know. New thoughts come into my head as we're on the fly here. This is what I'm thinking. Maybe our parents, Gen X, not every Gen X, this is generalization, right? That our parents gave us early responsibilities, and because they had to, maybe they had two working parents or whatever the first time. But yeah, they definitely taught us independence. Maybe that was their leadership, teaching us how to do things without them in the room. Family life, family life. Remember this past Christmas? Oh, Mom, yeah. We had an interesting Christmas, didn't we? This past year, our our leader in our house, Mom, wasn't there. It was the first time, but she got to watch from afar as our family carried forth those traditions that we learned from her and from Danda and from the others. Absolutely. All right, let's get to this little thing. Here it is. It's our Grateful Dead psychedelic connection. Back in the Fox Den. Back at the Fox Den today. Absolutely. We are with our little Grateful Dead connection for today. The Grateful Dead, it's almost too perfect, right? The music never stopped. The Grateful Dead as an original band ended in 1995 when Jerry died. Years passed and other members have passed too, and yet go somewhere this weekend. Somebody's probably playing those songs. Maybe it's one of the surviving members or a tribute band or a 22-year-old guitar player who wasn't even alive when Jerry was. Maybe it's a kid hearing Ripple from a parent. The music keeps moving, and that's what I love about that. It hasn't survived because everyone plays it exactly the same way. It survives because people keep making it their own. Different tempos, different arrangements, different voices, different generations, but the same thread. And that makes me think differently about the phrase, another phrase associated with the Dead, Built to Last. One of their album titles, Built to Last. Maybe Built to Last doesn't mean frozen forever. Maybe it doesn't mean everybody keeps doing things exactly the way the founder did them. Maybe something is truly built to last when it's strong enough to survive being changed. When somebody else can pick it up, carry it forward, and add something of their own. Because if your legacy requires everybody to imitate you forever, it isn't legacy, it's just a tribute. The music lives because somebody else gets to play it in their way. And that's the connection to the Grateful Dead. Every time I play Dead songs, I know I'm not playing it at the same tempo or maybe the same phrasing when I'm playing on my piano. That's the whole point. And I think that's the point of the Dead, right? You could go see the Grateful Dead 100 times, see them play the same song, and it's never the same song. Never the same song. And sometimes it's not even the same musician. But the core lasts. The core lasts absolutely through that. All right. We're going to keep rolling. Change the tune. Rolling on Kindness Rising this morning, back in the Fox Den with Sully and Roseanne and Jess and everybody else who's out there who's going to subscribe to the channel and come join us. Join the Kindness crew here at Kindness Rising and follow all the channels at the Mornings in the Lab Network, including Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and Friends. Phil Raphael Whitaker's It Starts With Joy. The Jason Hewlett Show is another opportunity to get involved. How about Let's Talk Supply Chain? We're rolling on the Mornings in the Lab Network. All right, let's get going with Who in the World. We'll keep it going. Before building the entertainment empire he created short experimental pieces for a local DC TV. His characters appeared in quirky TV advertisements. What was that little vocal thing? His characters appeared in quirky TV advertisements before they became household names. And lastly, Jess, you're already all over it. Kermit and Miss Piggy would agree he turned felt foam and imagination into something deeply human. Kermit and Miss Piggy. Hi-ho. All right. And we'll roll into our kindness compass and then do our reveal, even though I think it's already been revealed. Kindness compass, today's compass, moving from thought to action here on Kindness Rising, as we do every day. Every day. Kindness compass, pass something on, not somebody. Today. Not someday, not somebody. Pass something on, not somebody. All right, slow it down, Ruth. Kindness compass. We're rewinding. Back forward. Today's kindness compass. Pass something on, not someday, today. Teach somebody something you normally just do yourself. Explain the why, not just the what. Absolutely. Give somebody responsibilities that you don't usually keep. Share the knowledge you've been carrying alone and let somebody else be part of the conversation. It's hard. It's hard to let them do it differently than you would. Because passing something on requires trust. It requires saying, I don't need to control this forever. So ask yourself, what do I know that somebody else needs a chance to learn? And then give them the chance. Don't make yourself less valuable. Make somebody else more capable by passing something on. That is today's kindness compass. And certainly someone who passed things on is Jim Henson. Absolutely. Oh, your uncle worked with, Jess's uncle worked with Henson in DC. That's cool. In what capacity? Tell us more about that, Jess. What was he doing in DC? I think, I don't know if I mentioned this before or not. If anybody's ever had a chance to be or does go to the University of Maryland's main campus, Jim Henson is alum, and they have tribute to him, including a really cool statue that I love. It's a bench. It's actually a bench that you can sit on. You sit right next to Jim and Kermit. It actually looks kind of like that. It's a statue of Kermit sitting on Jim's shoulder like that at University of Maryland. So I don't know. You ever have a chance? Oh, he was doing set design. That's cool. Wow, that seems to be a theme this week. Set design and entertainment. Why? What are you talking about, Matt? So yesterday I was in DC, and of course I'm hanging out in DC, in New York, right before the show. Actually, yesterday I didn't talk about it. I could have. I was hanging out, getting ready for the show, and I see a guy sitting across from me. He was outside, just listening to the city awaken. Yeah, a guy sitting there, and of course, what's he got? He's sitting there with a giant Grateful Dead Steely on his. So of course, we always say something to each other. Hey, nice Steely, I like your hat, that kind of thing. And we got going on a conversation. This guy was from California, and his wife was a set designer and costume designer for Universal Studios. Thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, that's the second set design person. He was telling me about different things that she worked on at Universal Studios. Kind of cool. All right. That was like, whatever, dude. So you met a guy. All right. Today's mystery person is Jim Henson, and Henson gave us Kermit, Miss Piggy, Fozzie, and all the other characters. What are your favorite characters? Talk to me about the Muppets, because I love the Muppets. I could talk about the Muppets all day long. What makes this fit today, though, isn't just what he created. It's what happened after he was gone. And while he was teaching, he taught people. He taught other characters how to carry the characters forward. Other writers how to keep creating for those characters and other performers that could step in. And after he died, the room kept working. And that's one of the clearest signs of real leadership. You build something strong enough that other people can keep giving it life. Absolutely. Jim Henson didn't create memorable characters. He built a creative world that could outlive him. Animal, Sully. You said monster. It's Animal. Yes, the Muppet Band and Animal. Yes. Love the Muppets. The Muppet Band, great stuff. Dr. Teeth, right? Who was based on the real life person, Dr. John. We know that too. Yeah, Um, yeah, Janice, right? The Janice Joplin. Or what her name? Was her name Janice? No, the hippie, long blonde hair girl. Uh, oh, was he based on? He might have been just a wild, absolute Keith Moon from the Who. He could be. He could have been. Yeah, the band is great. Definitely a cool thing. You know who I like? I kind of take a little bit of a cue from him sometimes when I go live with my piano. Ralph the dog, always just great puns and funny things. And he also played the doctor in Muppets Hospital or whatever. Just so much fun, so fun. All the tongue in cheeks, all the puns, and what I really, of course, and I mentioned it in the opening, I think, or first clue, the humanity. Ralph the dog. Yep, yep, awesome. Um, the humanity, right? I actually, one of my guilty pleasures is rewatching the 1970s original series of the Muppet Show, Pigs in Space. Um, but I love it. I love the interactions with the guests, and just it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, definitely. And it reminds me of Sunday nights at home, Muppet Show in 60 minutes. Yep, 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 for sure. All right. Well, that I yacked for almost a half an hour. We talked about talking about the Muppets. Anybody else out there love the Muppets? Tell us your Muppet memories. We got a couple extra minutes to kill here. We can have some Muppet chat. Which was your favorite of the movies? Anybody have favorites from the movies? Everybody remembers the original. I actually love Muppets Take Manhattan. I think that is a really ridiculous movie, and I enjoyed the most recent remakes too. They did a nice job keeping up with keeping the theme. Am I a Muppet of a man? Am I a man or am I a Muppet? Uh, yep. Anyway, so I love Muppets Take Manhattan, and my favorite scene in Muppets Take Manhattan is when the advertising executives, they're all kind of just basic puppet faces like Kermit the Frog's shape, but they're different colors and characters, and they all have rhyming names, and they refer to each other. Hey Jill, I'm Gil. Hey Bill, I'm Phil. Gil, Bill, meet Phil, meet Jill. I don't know. It was a very clever bit in Muppets Take Manhattan. Yep. All right. I was going to do a Gen X fandom today, but I think I'll hold off on that. For those who might be curious, I was going to talk about Mr. Holland's Opus. Do you guys know that? Yes, the guests were the best, Sully. What I loved about the Muppet guests is they took guests from all over the world. It wasn't just people who could sing and dance or whatever. There were a lot of that. Rita Moreno was one of the famous. Does anybody else remember the Rita Moreno dance that she did with the big full-size Muppet, the guy in the Muppet suit? That's a famous bit. If you, Jess, you're into dance? Yep. Yeah, the early years. Yep. Jess, you're into dance. Maybe you've seen the Rita Moreno Muppets dance. If not, I'd suggest you try to find it. All right. That's it. That's it for today. I can't believe the week is up. Our Build the Room week has ended. I hope that everyone had a lot of fun with this, thinking about the ways that we can build the room together. Monday, we learned that every room has rules. And Tuesday, we learned that every room has a temperature. And Wednesday, what did we do? We listened for voices. That's right. We listened for all those other voices in the room. Yesterday, yep, we were in New York, not really talking about the room. And today we arrive at the final question. What happens when we leave? Because eventually every one of us does. We change jobs, we retire, the project ends. Absolutely. And maybe the goal was never to build something for us. Maybe it was to build something strong enough, safe enough, and generous enough that other people could eventually take action. Yep, and take over. That is the lesson for today. So the final leadership question isn't, did they need me? Maybe it's, what became possible because I was there. That's it for today. I hope everybody has an amazing weekend. I'll be back Monday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on Kindness Rising for you. Subscribe to the channel. Get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. And until I see you again, stay uncommon and stay kind.